Hello everyone, it's Jared from acousticnature.com, and in today's video I'm going to show you my entire portable field recorder collection and tell you about what I think about each one. Now before we get into the field recorders themselves, I just would like to take a moment and talk about why I use portable field recorders. As a nature field recordist, I'm often hiking for several miles into the wilderness where I spend 2 to 3 nights. So having gear that is extremely portable and lightweight and low noise is extremely important to me, and field recorders offer me all of those benefits. So back in 2019, when I first became interested in recording nature sounds, I didn't know anything about audio or recording it. So I went to Google, I Googled best field recorders for recording nature sounds, and the Tascam DR-40 was one of the top recommended models, so I happily went ahead and purchased one. Now, I will never forget my first nature recording. I was in Rhode Island and I was recording some beautiful light rain with some really deep resonant woodpeckers drilling in the background. And I was so excited to be blessed with such amazing sound that afternoon, and I was really excited to get home and listen to the recording. Now when I got home and put in that SD card, I was immediately disappointed with the recording quality of the DR-40. The self-noise of the DR-40 was so loud that it was competing and even overpowering those quiet raindrops and woodpeckers drumming. So I felt like I had been lied to by the internet, and I discovered that the DR-40 is not a great recorder for recording nature sounds. Now it's still in my collection because I think it's a great field recorder for musicians, and that's what I use it for. This is the recorder that I use for recording my flute, for my flute videos that I've posted on this account. So after being disappointed in its use for nature sounds, I put it aside and I went back to the drawing board and I proceeded to do research on field recorders for about 2 months. Now, in doing all of that research, I learned about important field recorder specifications such as microphone sensitivity and also field recorder self-noise and all the different ways to measure self-noise. And what I discovered was that in my price range of about $100, there were no field recorders on the market with low self-noise that would be good for nature sounds. After digging a little deeper, I discovered that there was a discontinued field recorder made by Olympus with really low self-noise that was recommended for nature sounds. That recorder is the Olympus LS-10, and still to this day, this is one of my go-to field recorders. The reason why I love the Olympus so much is because it has really low self-noise at -121 dBu, which is the same self-noise as the Zoom H5, which costs about 3 times as much as the Olympus. Now the only way to get one of these is on eBay, where they go for about $100. Other things that I like about the LS-10 is that its entire body is made out of aluminum, which not only makes it really durable, it also gives it really good RF protection, so I don't have to worry about if I get a text or a phone call during a recording, it's not going to pick up that interference signal. The only downside to the LS-10 that I have found is that it has a 16 gigabyte SDHC card limit. So if you're trying to record at the highest resolution at 24-bit, you won't be able to get 12 hours of recording, which is how long I usually like to record for when I'm using drop rigs. Now, since I do use the LS-10 for almost all of my drop rigs, I'm always recording at 48 kilohertz. That sample rate allows me to record for 12 hours, and 48 kilohertz sample rate is good enough for me. It sounds great, so no problems there. Now, after my experience and disappointment with the DR-40 and then my then love for the LS-10, I decided to create acousticnature.com so that I could help other people who were in my shoes who may also be fooled into buying a field recorder that's really not the best for recording quiet sounds. So after running Acoustic Nature for about a year and a half, I decided that I wanted to give the field recorders on the market their fair chance and get some experience with them and see if I could actually recommend them for those interested in recording nature sounds. So I went and purchased a Zoom H1N and a Tascam DR-40X. For starters, let's talk about the Tascam. Now, the field recorder itself has a relatively high self-noise, so if you're just trying to use it with its internal microphones, you'll be disappointed just like I was with the DR-40. But with its support for a plug-in powered microphone via the mini jack at the top, you can actually use the DR-40X to capture quiet nature sounds. The plug-in microphones that I recommend are the EM272 series from Primo Microphones. They're ultra low noise, really easy to wire into your own DIY microphones, and the sound quality is amazing. Things that I don't like about the DR-05X is that it's cheaply built. The plastic is extremely thin and just feels low quality in your hand. And it's also really sensitive to RF interference. So if you're going to be using this around lots of Wi-Fi signals and phones, it's going to pick up all of that static and ruin your recording. Moving on to the Zoom H1N. This actually is a field recorder that I recommend for beginners, but only if you're going to be using a pair of plug-in powered microphones with it, because by itself, it also has a high level of self-noise, and you will be disappointed when using it for quiet sounds like nature. The reason why I recommend the H1N is because it has improved RF protection over the Tascam, so you don't have to worry as much about Wi-Fi and cell signals. And it's also just a lot easier to use. It has this knob at the top of the recorder that you can just spin. It's really smooth, it feels quality, so that you can quickly change your gain setting. And it also has a selection of hotbar buttons below the LED display that allow you to quickly change commonly used settings such as the low cut filter. So that is the H1N in a nutshell. Now, after gaining the experience with the DR-05X and the Zoom H1N, although I liked the Zoom, it still wasn't as good as the Olympus, so I continued to use the LS-10 for a number of years while saving up for a new portable field recorder. That field recorder was the Sony D100, which in George Vlad's words is the king of all handheld field recorders, and I have to agree with him. The D100 is built like an absolute tank with an aluminum body, just like the LS-10. It runs on 4 AA batteries. It has a backlit display, which is really nice when you're recording in low light. But above all, the best feature of the D100 is its self-noise, which is almost non-existent. At minus 127 dBu, the D100 is far and away the quietest field recorder on the market and the quietest portable field recorder ever, period. The only downsides to the D100 that I've found is that it's heavy, it's expensive, and now it's recently been discontinued by Sony. So the only way to purchase one of these is on used marketplaces like eBay, where they typically go for about $1,000 for a unit in good condition. Because this field recorder is just about irreplaceable these days, I do not use it for drop rigs, and even if it was still available, I still would not use it for my drop rigs, because if it were ever to get lost or damaged or stolen, I don't want to be out the $775 that I spent on this device. And to be honest with you, the difference in noise in recordings made with the D100 versus recordings made with the LS-10 and plug-in powered microphones is so small that it just really doesn't make the risk worth it. So with the D100 being my most recent field recorder purchase, that is my entire collection of field recorders. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some of my opinions useful, possibly for your next field recorder purchase. And if you have any questions about the field recorders that I covered here or others that are available on the market, feel free to leave a comment below. I always read and respond to every single one. So if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you could drop a like or subscribe to the channel, both of which makes the YouTube algorithm happy and helps the channel to grow. So that's all I have for you in today's video. I will see you in the next one.